Ever since I repaired this Boxster 718 GTS a few years ago, I've been on the lookout for an upgrade, and it turned up at an auction a few weeks ago. So let me take you back to the day that I bid and won on my new GT4.
Please no one bid. Stop bidding. Oh. Come on, come on, come on. Yes, 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 this is it. Yes!
Oh! I've always wanted a 981 GT4 ever since they came out 7 or 8 years ago, but the price has always remained high. Being able to buy this one crash damage at nearly under half the value is the only way I'll ever be able to afford one. So I took the 2.5 hour drive down to Newbury Copart to collect the GT4, and just look how good this car looks.
Hi, the bank? Yeah, I'm gonna need a lot more money. Yes, I know I've already had a lot, but it's a GT4, come on.
We're gonna have the most fun in this video trying to get this off the trailer. And I did say in the walk around video, there was one major thing that I missed off, and that was, loads of people spotted it, I didn't. Yeah. Missing a ceramic disc. Now, I didn't realise from the auction pictures this wheel was straight at the time, so I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. It wasn't until the forklift driver picked it up to lift it onto my transporter that this wheel just flapped around, and that's when I noticed that the ceramic disc was missing. Now, these are expensive. I think each disc is circa £3,000 to £4,000. Obviously, I was fully aware the near side rear needed replacing. Didn't budget for this one, so I'm immediately 3 or 4 grand down. So it's not a great start, but let's get it into the workshop, and the idea is I'm going to reverse it onto the ramp and try and lift it off the transporter using the ramp. I mean, yeah, as I said, we're going to have a lot of fun trying to do this, so let's get her in. So this was the tricky bit. I mean, it didn't help that I didn't put the car on the ramp square, but as you can see, I just can't fit the ramp legs under the car at all. And with a beaver tail with a sloping rear end, it made it even more difficult. So I used my trolley jack, and I thought I'd start with the only access I could, and that is jack up the side that is damaged. And I managed to get it up just high enough to fit that rear arm under, as you can see. And then I managed to get under the offside rear and again lift it up just enough to get the rear arm under. But this is where I become stuck. I couldn't get it under the front at all. And this is where my genius came in, and I decided to use my engine crane to lift up the wheel, and I could get under each front corner, no problem.
Right, that's now all 4 corners under the chassis, so hopefully it will just lift straight off now. Fingers crossed I haven't broken anything, or do not break anything.
So I finally got it off after all that, and I've straight away noticed another expense. So I thought this wheel would have been all right. Bit of curbing, needs a new tyre, that's fair enough. But then spun the wheel. Yeah, I think quite a bit of air is going to leak out of there, if I'm honest. Not a great start, is it? Now, having a quick look underneath just to check the engine before we try and start it. Good thing about the Caymans are they are mid-engined. So obviously rear end smash, mid-engine, a bit less chance of there being any damage. And I'm just having a look at this gearbox here, and I can't see any damage on the gearbox, if I'm honest. It looks like the drive shaft's just been pulled out of it. I don't know how it's connected in. It's Don't know, is it bolted in? Is it bolted in? Looking at the subframe doesn't actually look damaged. It hasn't moved off its mountings. You can usually tell with fresh paint if it's moved. So all its mounting points look like they haven't moved, which is good. And that's what I said in the video about the hub. So everything's snapping. Snapping is a good indication that things, well, it's better when they snap because that means they don't give way as much and things don't bend then. So I'm hoping that means the subframe might be okay. So this arm snapped as well. I mean, they've all snapped. But otherwise, looking up here, look, it all looks a bit crumpled there. So I don't know how far back. I mean, we know that's caved in, but subframe wise and underneath this main bit, it looks to be at the minute okay. So I'm gonna get it down, try and dip the oil just to make sure there's oil. There should be. There's no evidence of an oil leak or anything like that, so it should be fine. Yeah, I've just realized we might have a major problem with that gearbox actually, because the flange has been ripped out and that is usually held on with a bolt. So if they've ripped the bolt out, that means deep inside that hole, there is a sheared bolt. So let's move on to the gearbox issues a bit later on, because that may be the least of our worries. Let's just start up the old battery charger. Oh no, I've got to plug it in first. Let's try again. Alright. So something's going on. Oh, it's probably flashing because there's no brake fluid in it, I'm imagining. Alright, we've got some sort of ignition, so battery's going to be very flat, so let me just leave it on charge for 5 minutes. Right, now I've got a key. Let's see if we can get in the boot. There we go. Oh. Oh, nasty. I was hoping there would be some parts maybe, but obviously not. Right, I have no idea how to check the oil level. Is it on a dipstick? Nope. Yeah, so I think you can only do it through the car's infotainment or through the dash. Right, let's go for a start. It's going to get the exhaust button open, even though I'm pretty sure it's going to be permanently open anyway. Foot on the clutch. Whew, right, it turns over. So that's a very, very good start. That means my pyro fuse hasn't gone. However, we need more charge. Right, let's try again. Come on. Why is it not starting at all now? Oh yes! I'm so happy that the car starts and runs. That has literally saved me about £15,000 because that is the cheapest that I can find another engine. So I've put up a whiteboard for this build because, yeah, I'm going to have to keep track of money spent because I think this one is going to be an expensive build. Luckily, I don't think we need to add engine to that price list. Gearbox, however, remains to be seen. So you would have seen how much I won the Cayman GT4 for at the auction at the beginning of the video. However, that did not include fees. So I'm just going to double check. So the amount I actually paid for it, including fees, VAT on the fees and all that, was actually £32,566.00. So that is the cost of the car as it stands. Obviously I haven't bought any parts yet, but obviously that list is going to grow substantially, and that is our opening balance. Now I'm going to start things off just by removing this front wheel just to see how bad the damaged rim is, and also the hub. It's actually not that bad. So I contacted an alloy repair shop just to see on the off chance if that could be repaired. And it was a big fat no, but it was worth a try. So now my first objective with this car is to get it moving, to get it rolling, to be able to basically not be stuck on the ramp. So yeah, we need to address these front left wheel and this near side rear wheel as well. Now I've tried something and I don't know if it's going to pay off or not, but we need to strip the offside rear to find out. Cool, I'll tell you what, this is very light. I'm going to say almost half as light as a steel disc. That's mad. Now, the reason I wanted to strip this side is because I've bought something that's not for this car. Well, not really. So this is actually off a 718 GT4, so the newer model. But looking online and cross-referencing part numbers, I couldn't find a single difference between the two. I mean, fundamentally, they may not be different at all. I mean, they're both GT4s, probably haven't changed much from the 981 to the 718, so they could be identical. The only thing that I was slightly worried about was that I saw that this the hub here was slightly different from this one, as you can see. But fundamentally, I've had a look over it, all the measurements, they look identical fitment-wise. And like bolt positioning and hub positioning, etc. It just looks like it's just a different flange on the end here. So I think this will be okay. Now that also led me on to a rear wheel as well. So this is obviously if we just get it under here, I think it's on the inside of the rim, 11J20H2 ET50. Now again, looking online, I can't find any 981 parts for the GT4, which doesn't really make sense because it's been out 7-8 years now. There only seems to be used 718 parts, considering they've only been out 2 years. I found that a bit odd. But again, I found a 718 GT4 rear alloy. So this is a 718 GT4 alloy. It does need a repair. It has been curbed here, but it was cheap. I will reveal the price for this wheel and the hub once I know that we can actually use them. So just having a look at the inside. Again, it is an 11J20H2, so it's identical and an ET50 as well. So the wheel is identical to the 981, just matte black. And we also need a tyre as well, and I found one. It is a part one for now. But it's an identical tyre to the one that's on the offside rear, even down to the tread depth. So if a lot of the 718 GT4 parts carry over, that will be a big plus, purely because there just seems to be a lot more parts available for the 718. Go figure. Now, other problems we're going to have is like all this wiring. I mean, I'm missing the whole loom on the near side rear. And if we can see there, it tucks behind this panel here. Also, our brake line has, on the other side, it's sheared off just here as well. So that is really frustrating. So if we go round, so that main wiring harness should come out of here, and if I put my finger down there I can feel wiring. So let's get this trim off and have a look behind there. And yeah, I'm going to try and fit the hub into this position. We might even be able to get the wheel on, but we also need to have a look at that drive shaft. Oh, I'll tell you what, we might have had an absolute touch on the wiring. Just behind here, look. A nice connector block, and they've obviously unplugged, or it's ripped out, one or the other, but it looks like we can just buy a loom that plugs straight into here, and then that supplies all of our near side rear corner. So that couldn't have been, if it is what I think it is, that couldn't have been any better. To get a better understanding of what I'm dealing with the near side gearbox flange, I need to take out the right side drive shaft just to see if there is a bolt there or what, because at this point I have no idea, so I need to find out. So looking at the gearbox flange here, now I don't know if you can see it, but there isn't actually a bolt holding it in. So I don't know if it's just a push fit or there's a circlip. So what I've done is I just phoned Porsche Sensor Service, and I got them to look up that gearbox flange, and they sent me the diagram. I'll put a picture up of it now, and there is no bolt, there's no circlip or anything. So fingers crossed it is just literally a push fit, and if it is, then that literally could save potentially having the gearbox out, and a potential rebuild of the gearbox. So I have ordered that part. I'm going to stick it on the board now. It's £147. I know it's expensive for basically like a little flange that does nothing really, but it is what it is. And we're underway.
Right, so now I'm going to move the snapped off arm here. Oh, I've got grease on my hands already. And the snapped part on the suspension. I'm going to try and offer up the new part, and just to see if it works basically.
And there we have it, the 718 hub and wheel have been offered up and they fit great. All looks good, can't find any issues, and I've just compared it with the offside rear and everything looks spot on. Obviously we've still got an arm missing here, so it does do that at the moment, but I can't see any damage or anything like that. So literally a straight arm replacement should rectify that. We have got some more issues with the shock wiring, if that can be fixed, etc. But for now, yeah, really happy with the progress there. Once we get a tyre on that and that arm in, this wheel then will be rotating and it will be movable. So yeah, happy with that. I've now just got to find a new hub for the front one as well. So I'm going to leave it there for today's video, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the introduction and the first parts of the 981 GT4. Please do subscribe if you haven't already for the rest of the journey. Also follow me on Instagram at saving_salvage. There's so much more content to come from this build. I mean, we've just scratched the surface mocking up a wheel just so we can get it rolling. We've still got the front to do and all this colossal damage on the rear as well, which is going to be loads of body panels. And it's just going to be an awesome process. And everyone, please share the video for this. The more exposure, the better, because yeah, I have a feeling this is going to be an expensive fix. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.